One of the things you want to learn how to do in Python is to be able to write functions in one file and when you need those functions in another file, import them. So to show you an example of that, let's take a first Python script where I define a function factors of, and you can see what it does here is it returns a list of factors of n, sets up an empty accumulator, and then goes through all numbers from 1 to n. And if the number divides n, then it gets appended into this factors list and it returns the factors. And then the main in this will solicit a number from the user and then print out the factors using a format statement. So to demo that, let me go ahead and run this. Okay, so let's say we wanted the factors of 12. Factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Notice I'm going all the way to 12 here. So now, at some later time, let's say I want to have a program that prints out a list of numbers from n1 to n2, all perfect numbers between n1 and n2. What I have here is perfect, and it will return true if the number is perfect, and otherwise it will return false. And the way it does this is it calls factors of n. Notice how I'm using indexing here to strip the last element off the list here, because for a perfect number you don't want the number itself to be one of the factors. So for example, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, 6. But for perfect numbers I want to drop 6 off. That would be the last element in the list, and so that's what this :-1 does. So what this function is doing is it's calling factors of n, which is not in this file, but you can see from the top, from factors of import factors of. This is the file name, this is the module name, and this is the function that I'm interested in importing. And so is perfect continues, and it defines a truth value and then returns that truth value. The truth value being whether or not the sum is equal to the number. And then a second function, nums, perfect nums list, returns a list of perfect numbers from n1 to n2 inclusive. And so to do that, we set up an accumulator, empty accumulator, and we iterate from n1 to n2. I have to go to n2 plus 1 to get n2 included, and then if num is perfect, I append num into the list and I return perfects. And then the main simply solicits the input. Let me run this and show you what happens. Find factors of what number? Okay, so what it's doing is it's going back to factors of, and it's running the main in factors of. And so let's say I did 6, and it tells me what the factors of 6 are. Now it's asking me for what n1 and n2 are. 1, 1000. Perfect numbers from 1 to 1000 are 6, 28, 496. But I didn't want it to do this. Okay, so what's the solution to this? The solution to this is, instead of just calling in factors of py, instead of just calling main, so I'm going to comment this out here. And I'm going to uncomment that. I'm going to save it. So when I import factors of, before what it did is it actually ran main in the module that I imported. And that's not my intent. My only intent is to have it get the use of this factors of function, which is in the factors of module. And so what we do is we say if name equals main, main. And the way this works is that if you run it by itself, um, it will invoke main. But if it is imported, it will not invoke main. And this is the functionality I want here. So now if I do this again here, just make sure I have saved it. Let's run this again here. Okay, so notice it's not running main in this previous program here. It's simply going right down to the main in the current program and asking me what number, from what number, 1, to what number, 1000, do you want to find the perfect numbers, and there you go. And I have commented out the same similar code in this program as I did in the first program here. If I wanted to use perfect nums in some other place, I could replace main with this. In fact, there is a considerable amount of logic to just doing this all the time so that you will have the functionality you want. You'll be able to get access to functions in modules without running the main in the module. Take a look at your book. Your book has a good section on this. Let's see, it is 713, starting on page 206 and going up to 208. But here's an example, and one of the disappointments of Zelli is he doesn't actually give you an example.